Hey everybody, welcome to Don't Copy That Floppy. I'm your host Lex.
And I'm your other host Dan. And we are a weekly video game news podcast. Your weekly video game news podcast.
Just for you.
Just for you. Broadcasting on Chipbit Radio out of chipbit.net. Where else can people find us, Lex?
They can find us on a bunch of social media such as Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, iTunes, and Steam.
Yes. We have Show Archive on iTunes. And you can go leave a review there. We would really appreciate it as well. I mean, you can leave one now, or you can listen to the whole show and then, collect your thoughts and leave an informed review. Or you could just tell us we suck.
Which is fair.
It's fair. You can do whatever you want.
I'd say, that's a reasonable assessment at least 60% of the time.
No publicity's bad publicity. And
Peter Molyneux knows that.
We also have a Show Archive on the chipbit.net website. And we are going to have one on YouTube as well, which I am in the process of encoding.
Yeah, we have the recent stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, but all our backlog is in the process of getting done.
It's happening.
I'm like 2/3 of the way done, and I'm going to upload it all in one big chunk. So it'll be there.
It is Saturday, May 4th. Usually we broadcast
It's not May 4th, it's June 4th.
Oh, it's June 4th.
You're a month behind.
Jesus. Time's just going by.
Seriously.
But no, so it's June 4th. Usually we broadcast on Fridays, but today
we're... usually from 7 to 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Tonight is the 4th, Saturday, and it's 8 to 9 p.m.
Oh.
We're broadcasting. We're throwing everybody off.
Both a day and an hour.
And if you're
later.
Listening to this on the archives, then this all means nothing to you.
Nothing.
And it's completely irrelevant.
Well, I mean, it's relevant in that all of our articles are going to be dealing within that time frame.
I suppose that's true.
Yeah. But what kind of stuff are we talking about this week?
We're going to talk a little bit about Overwatch. Overwatch's been big in the news lately. We got a story about Ubisoft. We got a little bit of news about the Xbone, the Xbox One. Some cool news. I guess generally cool news. None of it's actually really bad. It's just interesting.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of stuff about Nintendo, as well as Pokemon underneath that. A little bit of news about No Man's Sky, following up on something we reported about last week. Oh boy, oh boy.
Oh, goodness.
Then some other little stories, including some serious Steam Workshop pre-release game drama that I just dug up off a Destructoid, and it's just... oh, man. It's really something. It's the next Slaughtering Ground. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about.
Truly a delight.
Truly a delight.
Stay tuned for that.
Yeah. Jim Sterling's not involved on this one yet, though.
He will be.
So first things first, Overwatch just came out very recently. It was just last week, I believe. They have over 7 million players already, which is a lot.
It's a whole lot.
Battleborn has officially died.
Battleborn is officially dead. You heard it here.
Battleborn is belly up. Yeah. But Overwatch had a very strong launch. It continues to be strong, and we'll see how that goes from here on. But one of the big stories before the game came out of Blizzard was that they would not be tolerating any sort of cheating in Overwatch.
Yeah, they were very explicit about that.
Yes. Prior to the game's release, and it was shortly following the big open beta that they did, which had a great reception. But they said if any player is caught cheating, using any sort of hacks or anything, they will be permanently banned. You are banned forever. There is no appeals process. There is no strikes. You're gone. You need to buy a new copy of the game and get a new account if you want to play again. Because I doubt they ban your IP. I feel like that'd be kind of ridiculous. But
actually,
I don't know. Does it say that they do?
Not in that article, but in the one that I'm citing from PC Gamer.
Oh, okay.
It's crazy. I'm gonna get into that.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, please do. Because I was reading them from this Polygon article, which I don't think says anything about that.
One of the older ones I was able to find was an article from June 1st, which I assume is when this news first broke, from PC Gamer. And it was just about the difficult time that these people were having. Oh, I should point out that we don't have numbers yet on how many people have been banned in America, but we do know that 1,572 players have been banned in China, Which, considering how many people are playing it there, pretty small percentage.
Yeah, but I'm assuming that given the penalty being this strict, they're being very careful about who they ban.
Yes.
They're really making sure. One thing this article, the Polygon article I have here, says is that Blizzard is actually calling out many of them by name as well.
Ooh.
And saying, this is who we banned for cheating! And just, like, telling the whole community. That's rough. So, yeah.
So this is... I really hope this is real. It must be. PC Gamer's pretty reputable. I assume this is a real person that they're quoting.
I would trust PC Gamer.
But, cheaters are being hit by serial bans even after buying new copies. So they have some quotes from this guy. Got banned one day after official release. Thought I got detected for using RPM tools. Not sure what that is.
I don't know either. But I don't cheat at video games.
I know. I know nothing about the cheating community because I'm too honest. I'm sorry. Using RPM tools because the game was crashing for it at the time. Bought the game again. Didn't hack it at all. Just wanted to enjoy the game a bit. 2 days later, banned again. Bought the game again. Before doing that, I deleted Overwatch and Launcher completely. Enjoyed it again without cheating for only a day.
Wow.
On the 4th attempt, the article says, he purged his PC, changing hard drive IDs, MAC address, BIOS date, and buying a VPN to throw Blizzard's anti-cheat off. That didn't work either.
I tried to cheat to get around their cheating system, their anti-cheating system, and it caught me for cheating. So, that's impressive. I don't know what Blizzard's doing to keep tabs like that, but it does sort of suggest that they're just looking at your IP and saying, well, no one from that IP gets to play anymore. But who knows? I mean, it's odd to think of them doing that, though, because what if, say there's people playing in their dorm building at a college and they all share an IP of that dorm building, and one person cheats? Does it ban the entire dorm then from playing?
I mean, considering how seemingly sophisticated this anti-cheat software is, maybe they can just figure that out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And I mean, I'm no expert on IP address stuff and how they trace those things and how they deal with those things, so I'm probably talking garbage right now. But I think that's super impressive, and I have no sympathy whatsoever for any of these people. I know what they did.
I found the original post from this guy, which is, I mean, it's actually just an image copy of his original post, so I'm not sure where it's from exactly, but he ends it by saying, so I guess I need to say goodbye to this game. I'm like, well, yeah, you do, because you cheated.
You cheated.
And you knew beforehand
said
that you could cheat.
You can't play.
Yeah. So you do.
Maybe you should just not cheat. Maybe you should just learn how to play video games and not be a scumbag.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much.
So I commend Blizzard for doing this and being so, like, tough about it.
They're software wizards.
It's great. It's great. Ban all the cheaters. They suck. And yeah, if you're someone, like, they didn't, it's not like they even did this as, like, a surprise. They said, if you cheat, we're gonna ban you forever.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't be mad when they do it. After you make the choice to cheat. And the player base is 7 million players, so, like, who cares? Who cares? Like, Blizzard doesn't care about banning a few hundred people.
Oh, no, they can totally do that.
They can afford to do that.
I think that part of the...
Especially if it keeps other people playing, because they don't have to deal with cheaters.
As we talked about when we first reported on this, I think part of the reason why they have such a zero-tolerance policy is because they know the game is so successful. Or back then, they figured it was going to be so successful. Now it's proven that it is. So they can, have the thought process that you just had, which is, oh, well, there's so many people playing, we can ban a couple thousand, and it's going to make no difference in our profit margin.
Yeah. Doesn't make a difference. So, all you non-cheaters, go buy those Overwatch crates to your heart's content. 50 boxes for $39.99.
Wow.
$39.99. It's all cosmetic stuff, too.
That's a steal. No, not really. Pretty,
Don't buy it. Don't throw your money away. So good on Blizzard. I hope they continue to ban all the scummy cheaters. And if you're a cheater and you cheated at Overwatch and you got banned, good, you deserve it.
There are plenty of games you can cheat on. Go play Counter-Strike.
Yeah, if you want to cheat in an online shooter, just go play Counter-Strike.
I know, right?
Everybody cheats.
They're not going to be able to catch you. They're going to...
Everyone cheats. You're just fighting against other cheaters.
Yeah.
So, yeah, whatever.
It's fine.
It's fine. What a fulfilling video game to play.
Okay, so, some news that came out June 2nd.
Yes.
About Ubisoft and Vivendi. Now, the earliest article I could find was an article from GameSpot.
Yes.
I assume that it is the earliest, but Ubisoft takeover fears deepen as Vivendi closes in. So for those of you who don't know, Vivendi is a big old French company. They're French, aren't they? Yeah. And they're like telecommunications and video games and stuff.
Media company.
Yeah. Didn't they used to own Blizzard and now they don't anymore? I think that was the thing.
I think so. They had some sort of stake in Blizzard.
Because like when Activision showed up, they sold off the rest of their stuff. But they're still a heavy hitter, maybe just not in the world of video games so much as other multimedia. So they have a lot of money, and what they have done over the past, I want to say year, is they've been slowly weaseling their way in to try and get control of Ubisoft. So Ubisoft has I want to say it's a subsidiary. That might not technically be the correct term, but they have this company within or underneath them called Gameloft, who make mobile games. Apparently they're a very successful mobile game company. I'm blanking on the games they have made, but they have a lot of people playing them. So they're definitely making money.
They made a lot of games.
And they're run by they made Dungeon Hunter. I've heard of that. They've made Blitz Brigade, I don't know what that is. Ice Age Village, Iron Man 2 for the mobile device, Men in Black 3 for the mobile device.
Prince of Persia Warrior Within for mobile.
Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell, Conviction, and Shadow Vanguard for mobile.
Yeah.
So yeah, they make a lot of mobile games. And they are run by, I'm not going to be able to pronounce his name, Michel Guillemot. Oh, Guillemot? Oh. But
I think.
But
I took French.
He is the brother of
Yves Guillemot.
Yeah, who runs Ubisoft.
Yeah.
So basically Vivendi has been buying stock in Gameloft, and I think that it was in October of 2015, I believe. No.
Yes. That was when they got their minority stake in Gameloft and Ubisoft, which was after selling their stake for Activision Blizzard.
Yes. So it was in April, so a couple months ago of this year, that they were able to get the majority stake in Gameloft, I believe. So they have like 62% of the shares and like 56% of like the votes on the board.
18% of Ubisoft's stake
at
this point, which is more than the two brothers have.
Well, yeah, they have 15.
They have 15 between the two of them.
So
they're saying that 18% stake means that they deserve representation at board level, which is like we want to run the company.
Yeah,
they want to run the company.
They do.
And the brothers are currently trying to figure out how to stop this from happening.
Yes. Michel, after they took over Gameloft, he has decided he's going to step down, I assume preemptively, because the assumption is that they're going to fire him. Yeah. And I think that as of right now, he's still working there, but within like the next week, he's gone. He sent out this email to his employees talking about how, like, I'm still in charge. Don't take orders from anyone but me until I leave, at which point I will not be in charge anymore. And Vivendi will be in charge.
Because they want to keep Ubisoft independent. They want to keep it being like what it is right now and not have it be owned by this bigger parent company.
Yeah. So they're super worried about losing the control that they have over the games that they make when Vivendi comes in and takes over. Or I should say if, because it's not technically certain yet for Ubisoft.
Yves actually described Vivendi's investment in the company as unwanted. Which is like... pretty brash to say, I feel like.
I mean, it's one of the interesting things about
It's true.
Publicly traded companies is you can have things like this that are hostile takeovers where another company or conglomerate, or even a person, I suppose, if they have enough money, can just start buying stocks in a company to the point that they control a majority without having to actually like negotiate or get the okay from the people who run the company.
Yep.
Which is kind of messed up.
It's pretty shady.
But there are certain different ways in which the people who run companies can protect themselves against that. It looks like the
brothers are trying to figure that out right now.
Yeah, they've hired lawyers. They're working on that. There are certain safeguards. I read a bunch of stuff about this years ago, and I can't remember any of the specifics. But there are certain safeguards you can put in place when you first are putting your company on the market. Like where you say, okay, well, I have majority stock. Like, I assume this is like the kind of stuff that like Zuckerberg did with Facebook, like him and his fellow people who he then cheated out of all their money.
But cool guy.
Yeah. But he has safeguards in place where nobody else can gain control of Facebook if they wanted to, because he set it up in that way. I don't think Ubisoft was set up in that way because setting a company up in that way usually puts much more risk on the person who owns it. So if the company ends up tanking, it's like that person's personal
And the company's
money.
been around for 30 years.
So
that was a long time ago.
Yeah, because
I don't
know if they founded it. I feel like they did.
I'm not sure.
I haven't looked into that,
Yeah.
but because it would be especially sad if they had founded the company and have had it for 30 years and now it's being taken away from them. I don't believe that's the case. I think they're a little too young.
Yeah,
because I think they're in like their 40s, maybe 50s. What is?
No, they were both they were both founders.
Oh, okay.
And apparently their three other brothers were the other founders.
Well,
Christian, Claude, and Gerard.
Oh my god, they're all so French.
So French, because they're all Guillemot. Yeah, so it was founded in 1986, 30 years ago, by 5 Guillemots.
The 5 Guillemots.
The 5 Guillemots.
So now they're trying to pursue...
and their headquarters is actually in France.
Yeah. So they're lawyering up, and they're trying to find a way to retain control of the company.
Yeah.
I know that like
good luck, guys.
That's going to be tough. I think that the sort of most direct route to do that, where you're not doing like legal trickery, is when you get someone who's loyal to you, who you know is not going to actually take over your company, to buy the majority stake before this other outside company buys it.
Yeah. And
then that guy either sells it back to you or just, has a majority stake in the company but doesn't try and take it over.
Right.
So I've read some stuff about how they're going to people to ask them about that, and everyone's like, "Man, I don't have as much money as Vivendi. I can't outspend them."
Vivendi is also saying like, "Oh, we're not trying to do a hostile takeover."
Yeah, their initial their press releases have been like, "No,
we're just buying the majority shareholding."
It's gonna stop it at 80%.
Yeah.
We're not going to keep doing
Why would we want more?
There's also this great letter that they sent out to Gameloft employees that's just like the most canned, automated thing, being like, "Oh, we welcome you to part of our team where our heart is creativity, and we are so excited to work with you on projects." And I'm like, ooh. It's chilling.
It's like the devil on your shoulder. So good luck, Ubisoft. Good luck to all those Guillemots in all their ventures from here on out. What about the X-Bone?
The X-Bone?
Talk to me about the X-Bone.
Oh, something exciting happened with the X-Bone on May 31st.
I don't believe it.
Well, it did.
I don't believe it.
Well, that's what The Verge tells us. Believe The Verge. Believe Tom Warren at The Verge. So the Xbox, or the X-Bone, as some would call it,
should call it,
has had a price drop of $50, so it is now at $299 for that hardware. Now, Microsoft is saying...
Until June 13th.
Yes, Microsoft's like, oh, it's cheaper now, but only until June 13th, so get it while you can. Yeah, June 13th
Buy it before E3.
Yeah, is the June 13th is not just E3, but it's the day that Microsoft has their press conference at E3. So that has led everyone to speculate, and it's going to be true, that Microsoft is going to announce their upgraded Xbox version that's more powerful. So what this
really means is save your money and put it towards a better Xbox One.
Yes, because the one you're going to buy for sale is, by the 13th, going to be obsolete. Or, well, it won't technically be because the new one won't go on the market on the 13th, but it'll come on the market a couple months after that, we assume.
So what? Save your money.
Yeah.
Put that $300 towards the $400 or $500 price point of the new one.
And then you can use VR with it.
Yeah.
Because that's the big thing.
And just have a better console.
Nice
try, Microsoft.
What I also assume is that the $50 price drop is not actually going to last until the 13th. They're gonna announce on the 13th that they're making that price drop permanent and that there's gonna be the new console.
You're totally right.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. They're like, whoa, did you guys miss out on your Xbox? Well, you can still get one.
Or you can buy this other one.
Yeah, or you can be smart and just wait.
Yeah. Because there's all these reports, I think we talked about this last week when we first talked about the sort of console upgrades that PlayStation and Microsoft were doing. But apparently the VR stuff, it'll work on the versions that are out now, or at least I read something about how it'll work on the regular PlayStation 4 that's out now. But it works like garbage, according to reports, which is why they're doing all these upgrades now, because they know that they need the extra horsepower so that VR will actually work properly on their systems.
Yeah, it takes a lot of horses to power virtual reality.
So many horses. That's why
That's why virtual reality was so lame back in like the 1800s when everyone only had one horse. Everything
was only 2K resolution.
A hand cranked Oculus Rift.
Yeah, you get sick real easy.
What are these called? Were they just called stereoscopes?
I think
Those things you would look into and it would form one image, and
yeah,
I believe so. Cool. Sure. But hey, guess what you can also get on Xbox One now? You can get Fallout 4 mods.
Yeah, this is really cool.
This is actually really cool news, because finally, those of us who only own an Xbox One can get that little taste of the sweet, sweet nectar of the PC Master Race. You can just stand beneath them, eating the scraps that fall from their table. But in all seriousness, this is really cool news that Bethesda had announced that sometime in May the Xbox version would receive mod support. This article is from May 31st, and hey, they got mod support.
Yeah, mod support.
There was a closed beta for it last week, and invites were sent to select recipients. So I guess it's not fully out yet, but they're working on it, and it's coming very soon. They're working through all these like pre-release bits of it. They're eyeing a June release for the Creation Kit, which will give players tools to create their own mods for the open world role-playing game. On PC, Fallout 4 has offered the updated in-game mod option since April, when the Creation Kit launched in beta.
Oh.
And players have been sharing mods through third-party means since the game's launch. But this is going to allow people to do things directly through Bethesda.net and distribute them that way. Which they did with a lot of the Elder Scrolls games as well, but I feel like a lot of people just use third-party websites anyway, because it just collects everything better.
Yeah, the fans have already figured out a better sort of system for finding
it's one of those things where no one really wants to use the official channel. Like, it's just easier not to. And the first expansion for Fallout 4, or maybe it's not the first expansion, the latest expansion, Far Harbor, is out on all three systems, and apparently there's some issues with it on the PS4, but they're fixing it. I haven't been following Fallout 4 news at all since that game came out, so I don't know what this expansion's about. I don't know if it's the second expansion or the first expansion. Who knows? I don't even know what you do. There's a crab. There's a crab living in a van. That's all I know. Good enough.
It's gotten pretty good reviews. I'm pretty sure it's the second, because I think there was a first one that was all robot oriented.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong, but I believe that.
I got no idea. You know more than me. You sound convincing.
Sure.
Sure. Let's talk about Nintendo.
Nintendo!
Well, we're on the subject of new consoles. How about that NX?
That NX, it was gonna come out one day, and then they were like, nah, wait 6 months later than that.
Wait till the beginning of 2017.
Oh no, Nintendo. Missing that holiday window.
We have an article from VG247 from Friday, June 3rd, yesterday, where Nintendo has reportedly delayed mass production of their upcoming console, the NX. We already knew this was coming out in March 2017.
No.
Hey, this article's confusing. Mass production will be moved to early 2017. Oh, okay. So they pushed past mass production, so that means that the system will likely not launch in March 2017 because they're going to be mass producing it at that time.
Oh, okay.
Okay, because originally they were going to be mass producing it in the middle of this year.
Yes.
Apparently. Alright. I got confused there for a second. So the rumor now is that this is happening so that a VR function, quote-unquote, can be added to the system. So that they can gain advantages in the upcoming video game and mobile game competitions.
Oh no.
So, what do you think, Lex?
This is such a bad move, Nintendo. Please don't do this. We know that sometimes you make really dumb ideas when launching consoles, but we were really hoping that this time would be different. And
allegedly there will not actually be any NX news at E3 this year. They're waiting till later in the year.
I don't know if I believe that.
I hope there's something, because the fact that they're going to be talking so much about the new Zelda game,
which is
going
coming
to launch on the NX.
Yeah.
Like, are they just going to talk about the Wii U version?
I mean, maybe, but
that seems so dumb. Because if you want me to get excited about the NX, you need to get me excited about your crazy good launch title for it, which is going to be Zelda. Mm-hmm. But I need to know why I should get it on the NX instead of just keeping my Wii U.
Mm-hmm. Now,
you better tell me something.
So the thing about Nintendo and reports of the NX in terms of the hardware it's using and the price point it's probably going to have been consistent with this, with the way Nintendo's done things in the past. Their consoles have typically been cheaper than the Microsoft or the PlayStation consoles. And because of that, they've been a little easier to mass produce, they've been easier to buy, but they haven't been as powerful. Now, as we just discussed earlier, the reason why the Xbone and the PS4 are getting upgraded versions, primarily, we believe, is because they need more horsepower to deal with the VR. So this NX is going to come out, and it's probably going to be, like, I think best case scenario, it's going to be as powerful as the Xbone or the PS4. Then how is it going to effectively run VR?
Yeah.
So, unless and they're only pushing production back 6 months, which makes me assume they're not completely overhauling the design of the system. They're just tweaking it a little bit. So I don't see how this is going to work for them. I think they just shouldn't go this route. I just don't even know. It's so dumb. I mean, I'm not on the VR bandwagon at all anyway. So I feel like I'm kind of biased against this. I actually have a fun story about VR. I got to use VR the other day.
I did too.
Oh.
I did too. I was like, oh, this is alright.
Where did you go to use VR?
I went to our good friend Brandon and Kelly's house.
They have VR there?
They have the Samsung, whatchamacallit.
I was there, I didn't even notice they had it.
The phone one, yeah.
Oh.
We used it. Because me and the wifey got there early, so we played around with their virtual reality. I sat next to hipsters in a canyon, and I watched a Cirque du Soleil show.
That sounds awful.
It was scary. The people touched me.
That sounds terrible. I
will say, it looked good. It looked very good, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't care that much, though.
I got a chance to use the Vive,
mm-hmm.
and man, it was pretty cool. I mean, because that's the one where there's motion sensors set up, so you're in a space that you can walk around in.
Yeah, that's probably way cooler than what I did.
Oh my god, it was so freaking cool.
I could just look around.
And there was, like, all of the games that were in there were, again, like, just sort of, I don't want to say shovelware, but they were basically shovelware.
They're gimmicky, like, look at this thing, VR!
Yeah, like, one of them that I played that I thought was really interesting was, you're, like, in an asteroid. So you just see all of this sort of, like, low-res polygon, like, rock around you, and you lift up the controllers and punch at it, and you punch chunks out of the asteroid, and you see, like, that you're floating in space, and there's a big pretty planet near you, and there are all these other asteroids whizzing by, and it gives a really nice sense of scale, plus everything is in zero gravity, so while you are standing normally, because they're not going to be able to simulate zero gravity for you, the different chunks of space rock are floating around you, and you can, like, push them away,
that's neat.
or, like, pull them in, and when you tap them, they, like, dynamically break apart into smaller pieces, and then the more you hit them, the smaller the chunks get. It was really interesting, and there's also a zombie survival game where you just have a gun and a flashlight and you're shooting zombies that run at you. That was also fun. But, no, it was really, really interesting. The weird thing about that is, though, because you're moving around so much, and VR is not wireless because you can't carry that much data over a wireless signal. You're tethered to the computer with these big wires, and because you can't see them when you have the headset on, but you're, like, moving around all over the place, it's, like, really easy to get tangled.
That's a problem.
But that's one of those things that, you know, in the future, it will be wireless eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
And then that'll be fine.
Yeah, I suppose so. I can't get over the feeling that it still just feels like a gimmick to me.
I think that it has...
It's cool, but no one's done anything particularly impressive with it yet.
It needs cool games.
We need that... I hate the term killer app, but we need that for VR. Like, it's an awful term, but you know what I mean. We need something that validates it.
Yeah.
Like a game that requires this VR to be what it should be, and uses the VR in an interesting way. And until we get that, I feel like I just can't get that excited about it. Because it's like, look, you can be on a roller coaster. Look, you can be in space. You can shoot a zombie. And it's neat at first, but it's one of those things where you play it and you play it and you play it, and you're like, oh, this is cool, just like motion controls and stuff. And then eventually you're just kind of like, yep, okay, I get it.
It doesn't actually significantly improve the experience.
No, and then eventually, once the sheen wears off, and once you get used to the VR, it ceases to be that interesting. It's like when you go to see a 3D movie at a movie theater, and within 20-30 minutes of the movie, you don't really even notice the 3D anymore. At least I don't.
Unless you're like an IMAX or something.
IMAX is different, I suppose, yeah. But,
man, can I talk about how I'm so happy that is one gimmick that has subsided with most movies? Like, it's
3D?
Like, it's still coming out with a lot of the blockbusters, but there was a point when it was like every movie was in 3D.
Yeah.
And luckily that has started to go away.
There was no reason for it.
No.
At all.
But, yeah, I think that we need that. We need that good VR game.
Yeah. What will it be?
What will it be? Who knows? Will it be No Man's Sky? I'm trying to segue right now.
No Man's Sky would probably be kind of cool.
Bring up the No Man's Sky.
Well, I'll tell you what it won't be.
Oh, we have more Nintendo stuff. I forgot about that.
Nintendo's going to be showing more than Zelda at E3. There's an article from The Third on Destructoid. Previously reported that Nintendo was saying, we're only going to show Zelda at E3. But they're not. They are also going to be showing Pokemon Sun and Moon info, Tokyo Mirage Sessions, F.E. Sharp. I hate that name. It's the Shin Megami Tensei Fire Emblem crossover game.
Oh.
It is now titled Tokyo Mirage Sessions F.E. Sharp, even though that Sharp mark is before. Hashtag F.E.
Hashtag F.E.
It's called F.E. Sharp, though, which is a terrible name. I hate that name, and the game looks stupid. And I've heard from people that the game is not that good.
Aww.
Also, I watched the final battle of it, and it was really cringy. The singing was not welcome. Dragon Quest VII on the 3DS. Look at those Akira Toriyama designs. Look, it's Trunks with a big chin.
Yep.
Pokemon Go, and Monster Hunter Generations. So they're showing a whole lot more than Zelda. And I wonder if they're doing that because they're like, oh, maybe we won't show the NX. I guess we should probably just show a bunch of games and hope people forget.
All of that time in our press conference, or in our, what is it called? Their stream.
Yeah, direct.
Their direct that was going to be spent on NX, they now need to pad it with other stuff.
On Thursday, the 2nd, there was some more information about Pun and Moon. Pokemon Sun and Moon. Showing us the legendaries that we saw on the covers of the games.
Yeah.
There is Solgaleo, which is the lion-looking one,
Ooh.
and is Psychic and Steel type.
Oh.
Which I didn't
get that. I
assumed Fire,
yeah.
maybe? Like, everybody did, apparently, though when this was announced, people were like, wait, what?
It's also on the Sun game.
Yeah. And the Psychic Ghost type Lunala.
Which I did totally assume.
That makes perfect sense. That's really cool, actually.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for ghost types. It's my favorite Pokemon type. They're all just so cool.
Dude, Haunter's the best.
Haunter's the best. Gengar can get out of here.
I know, just
never evolve it.
Never evolve him.
I know that Haunter's super useless power-wise later, but I don't care. I don't like Gengar.
That Haunter character design is so good.
He's super good. Gengar's a huge step back. I agree. I'm glad you agree. Almost nobody agrees with me on this. I'm shocked that you actually agree with me.
It's weird because it also the way the evolutions look. It's like Ghastly. It makes sense that he would evolve into Haunter. Yeah. Like from a static standpoint.
Gengar's kind of weird because he gets feet and stuff.
Yeah. Why would you go from flying to not being able to fly? That's just silly.
It's dumb. I don't know if can Gengar fly or does he just jump around? I have no idea.
I mean, in terms of how it looks, I don't even think. Do the other two have the flying ability? I don't think they do.
Well, they float.
They float, yeah.
Yeah, but they can't use fly.
No, they can't use fly.
No. Well, they're ghosts. You can't grab them and fly with them.
Obviously.
It's not like the other ones that actually don't make sense, like Scyther, who clearly has wings and flies all the time and is totally big enough to carry a 10-year-old child.
Totally big enough to carry a 10-year-old child.
But he can't learn to fly. But you can stand on your 1-foot-tall Pidgey as he carries you through the air.
That's true.
That make no sense.
I never thought about that.
So it showed off the legendaries a little bit. We got to see their in-game battle animations, and they showed some of their special moves and big lasers and legendary-looking attacks. Mm-hmm. They showed off the region the game's going to take place in. I guess in this image you can kind of see it behind them. Like most people were speculating, because of the first trailer showing an island, it is an archipelago. So it's totally based off of Hawaii.
Oh, it definitely is.
100%. It looks like 4 main islands with a bunch of different stuff on them. Lots of stuff going on, actually. Is interesting. And the area's called Alola.
Oh, yeah. Definitely Hawaii.
It's Hawaii. It's Hawaii as hell. And you have Professor Kukui, who is joined by his assistant Lily, and the player's friend Hao, who I guess is your rival. He's not going to be as good as Gary. They'll never be as good as Gary. Because Gary's the only rival. That's not true. The Generation 2 rival also hated you. Because the rival should hate you. I want the rival to just call you a loser and rub dirt in your face. And after the second generation games, they started making your rival like your friend. You're like, hey, let's be great Pokemon trainers together, buddy. And I'm like, get away from me. You're making me sick.
They tried to turn it into a friendly competition.
No. I'll grind him into the dirt every time. So I became Gary. You'll also have character customization, which was apparently in Pokemon X and Y, which I never played, so I didn't know that. But that's cool.
Yeah.
And the Pokedex, this time around, has... Okay, so there's this ghost Pokemon called Rotom, who was introduced in, the 4th gen games, I think, who's a little electric ghost who possesses appliances. There were different versions of him you could get. You could get a fridge version that was a ghost ice type. You could get a lawnmower that was a ghost grass type. It was a neat idea. Look at him.
Yeah, it's great.
He's awesome. And apparently your Pokedex in this game is going to be possessed by a Rotom. So your Pokedex can talk to you and do weird ghost stuff. It's a very cool Pokemon idea.
Yeah.
He's actually super neat. So I like that they're kind of bringing him into that as a neat little thing to make the Pokedex more interesting than it was before and more helpful than it was before. Apparently, as well, there's going to be a QR scanner function in the game, which I know the 3DS is capable of because they use it for Animal Crossing. I don't know how many other things they've used it for, but I guess the way it's going to work is that QR codes will contain information about Pokemon, which when scanned gets added to the Pokedex. Because if the QR code scan belongs to a Pokemon they haven't caught yet, they'll be provided with the monster's habitat so they can scout it out, and you can share these with each other to register and trade between them to register Pokemon to your Pokedex. So initially I said, well, that sounds stupid and pointless because why don't you could just find the stuff in the game? Like, there's no reason to actually have all this. And then I realized this makes it way easier to complete your Pokedex than it ever was before. Not only because the different versions are going to have some exclusive Pokemon, but this means that once you get, like, the national Pokedex that has, like, all God knows how many Pokemon there will be once this comes out, if you find a player who has the Pokemon that you don't have, regardless of what generation they're from, if you can get the QR code for them, you can add them to your Pokedex. Or if you can trade them with a friend. Which is interesting, because in recent generations it's become nigh on impossible to catch them all in any of the games that have come out, because there's like 700 of them.
Yeah.
So this is a neat alternative to that, I guess.
Totally.
It still seems like kind of an extraneous feature, but at least there's something there. And for people who really want to collect all the Pokedex entries, it's a boon, for sure. I think it's Nintendo realizing, when this game comes out, there's going to be over 800. Maybe we should make this a little easier on the people who want to play these games. And actually, like, catch all the Pokemon. So, yeah. That's the new news. As we already said, there's going to be more at E3, so looking forward to that. I don't really care about anything right now aside from seeing the evolutions of the 3 starters. Like, I really, like, any other news about this game, I'm like, alright, that's neat, but I just want to know what they turn into. I gotta know. I gotta know. It's sweating me. I'm getting worried. Also, alongside Pokemon Sun and Moon, in China, so these are going to be the first titles in the franchise that are going to be available to play in traditional and simplified Chinese for players in Hong Kong, Taiwan, and mainland China. So the Chinese languages were included because back in 2014 there were fan petitions asking for these localizations, but some people are very upset and are currently protesting the translation that's been released that is renaming Pikachu in the Chinese language. People are upset.
You can't rename him?
So people who live in Hong Kong, upon learning that the names of the original 151 Pokemon would be translated into Mandarin instead of the more largely spoken Cantonese. As a result, the new name for Pikachu reads like Pei Ka Jiao in Cantonese, which sounds much different from the original Bei Ka Chu. People are mad. Chinese language, serious business.
Serious.
Cantonese, not Mandarin. What are you doing? So people in Hong Kong have started protesting in the streets, demanding that the company use a Cantonese translation for the people who live in the city. Some protesters told courts, which is where this report's coming from, they were ready to boycott Nintendo if the company didn't release a Cantonese translation for the game. In response, Nintendo released a letter asking Hong Kong fans to ignore the Mandarin spelling and read it like they usually would.
Just ignore how it's written.
Despite that, however, the Hong Kong community of Pokemon fans have set up a Facebook group expressing their concerns and frustrations. There are 6,000 members asking Nintendo to recognize their independence and respect their chosen language. So this is really getting into this is some deeper issues in China of pride of culture.
Yeah.
Because it's such a mixture of regions and various places that experience more or less imperialism than other places and came from different tribes and cultures from older times in China that all speak different dialects of the language.
Yeah, this is
very different.
This isn't really about Pikachu.
It's not really about Pikachu. But Pikachu's now the figurehead for it. Or should I say, Pei Ka Jiao. In Cantonese, as it should be. I'm taking a hard political stance right now. Gives that Cantonese, Nintendo.
You're gonna alienate all our Mandarin speaking.
They get theirs already. What the Cantonese people do not deserve it. So, that's that. Speaking of people who are angry about things...
So, I think you sort of convinced me with the Pikachu story that those people were angry about a more legitimate and serious issue.
Most definitely.
That was deeper than just the naming of a Pokemon.
I feel like that Pokemon name thing is come bringing it out.
Now let's switch over to America, where some people are completely unreasonably upset.
Yes.
So last week, you may recall that we reported that No Man's Sky was getting delayed.
It wasn't a rumor.
Yeah.
It was presented by a GameStop employee who posted a picture of a coming soon sticker, which he was told to put over the release date on a No Man's Sky poster.
Yeah.
GameStop was like, hey, you guys, don't ask why. Just put a coming soon sticker over every date on No Man's Sky.
Now, since then, I'm pretty sure it's been confirmed.
It has.
And it's coming out, like a couple months later?
It's coming out in August 9th instead of June 21st. It's not even 2 months.
Yeah, it's
like
not even a big deal. So when we had reported on that last week, we were like, oh, a couple months. Yeah, whatever. No big deal.
Yeah.
Apparently other people on the internet didn't react that way.
It is a big deal.
It is.
The game's not even in Cantonese. Ridiculous. So, Sean Murray, managing director of Hello Games, makers of No Man's Sky, says that he received death threats throughout the week.
This was as of 5 days ago we were reading reports on this.
Yeah.
I was getting some from Games Radar, you were getting some from Polygon.
Yep. He said on his Twitter, I have received loads of death threats this week, but don't worry, Hello Games now looks like the house from Home Alone. #Pillow Fort.
Pillow Fort. I didn't even remember the #Pillow Fort thing. That's such a good touch.
Yeah, Sean Murray, guys, is a cool guy.
No,
he's a nice dude.
That's the most amazing way to respond to those kind of
no
threats.
Anger, no oh my god, I can't believe it. Just like, alright.
Just joke about it.
Yeah.
You have so the guy who reported on the rumor of the delay
article. Jason Schreier.
Yeah, he was even targeted. So it wasn't just Sean Murray. It was the guy who wrote the article about the rumors targeted. Do you want to go into the threat to him first?
This is the best.
Because then I have a threat to Murray.
Yeah, this is the best. So Jason Schreier posted on Twitter what it's like to write about video games on the internet. And he attached a picture to this. Where he received a text from somebody that says, your little article about No Man's Sky being delayed has made me hate you to my very core. The only thing I live for, not capitalized I, and you live for, the only thing he lives for is No Man's Sky coming out on June 21st.
Why wouldn't autocorrect change the lowercase I to a capital I?
Because he probably does it all the time, so autocorrect just... If you
autocorrect gave up.
If you consistently do something, autocorrect will just adapt to it and be like, okay, that's how they want to do it.
Yeah.
So it just means he never does it.
Okay, continue.
He's an idiot.
Yeah.
And you go and write that bullshit about a delay. Instead of visiting London later this month, I think I'll come by and say hi to you, and fuck you up. You think you can get away with this that easy? Making fun of our Reddit page also? Sounds like you have a death wish. We'll find you. Be afraid, human. We're coming for you. This coven of British Reddit vampires is apparently coming after Jason Schreier. Instead of their normal trip to London later this month.
No, this is also funny because he mentions Reddit, and one of the things I had read about this, not on Reddit, but elsewhere, was how when this guy reported on the rumor, there was this Reddit thread that was saying, like, no, this rumor's not true, it's baseless. Like, No Man's Sky still come out at the same time, and then Sean Murray's like, no, it is actually getting delayed.
Which, admittedly, it was a rumor.
Yeah.
That very easily could have been a GameStop employee just being like, oh, we make them think it got delayed.
Yeah.
At that point, we were like, I don't know, let's wait and find out. And then Sean Murray was like, hey, sorry, guys.
So it's ridiculous that, half of the anger that this guy's throwing out at the journalist is just because, I was wrong, and I'm upset about that.
And you reported on a thing that might have made me upset. And then did! I love that he...
You were right and I was wrong, and that makes me angry.
I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna fuck you up. Forget going to London. I love that he mentions instead of going to London later this month.
He had that trip all planned.
He had it all planned, but now he has to go fuck up Jason Schreier. You ruined it.
He has to cancel that airfare last minute. It's gonna be
brutal.
Yeah.
I just love that. I love that he went out of his way to say that. It's like, dude, like, that's not how threatening people works. I think I said it before the show. It's like, hey man, I was gonna go to my favorite deli and get a tasty pastrami on rye, but now I gotta go fuck you up. like, it's just absurd. Like, this reads like a joke, but I have a feeling it's not a joke.
It's not.
Who?
No, this person was very serious and very stupid.
I bet this person wears a fedora.
I'm either guessing he's a neckbeard with a fedora who's in his late 20s, or he's like 11.
Yeah. You could also be super young.
Yeah.
And trying to act all tough.
Yeah.
Because who else would actually be this angry about this delay?
Man.
Besides total losers,
exactly.
Like 11-year-olds.
No, I'm gonna... So, there's a post of something that was sent to the game developer.
Was it sent to Sean Murray or to, like, Hello Games as a whole?
Let's see.
You know?
I think it was to Sean Murray, but I'm not sure if this article specifies. But this is from Bravo_698, which is... I saw that and it made me think of lowercase x, uppercase x, Destiny 420.
420 Sephiroth.
Yeah. It's like one of those kind of names. I'm like, of course. So I want to point out that this is in all caps. I'm not going to shout the whole thing because, you know...
XX sniping from the trees, 420.
So this is in all caps and there are no commas or periods. No, there's a period in there. I'm sorry. But there's no commas.
Yeah, he actually ended with a period.
And this is how it reads. Get your act together. I pre-ordered NMS a month before the release date, but it's okay. Thank you for screwing me over and putting false hope in the hearts of people around the world. What a serious letdown. Oh, I can take a breath. There's a period there. Not to mention, this game was supposed to be released in 2015, but it's okay. F you, goodbye. I like that he censored the swear.
Yeah, it was very nice of him.
That was nice. But it wasn't supposed to be released in 2015.
We didn't know if it was going to be when it was. They didn't say any specific release date.
There was like rumors that it might be coming out that year, but they never like put a release date for that year out and then delayed it. This is the first delay it's had.
Yeah. It was never dated until the June 21st date. Also,
like, dude,
you gotta wait an extra month and a half.
The world's not gonna end.
Find another game to play, idiot.
I know, right? Go play Rainbow Six.
Pick up another hobby. Go for a walk. Ride a bike. Start crocheting. I don't care. The game's coming out. Idiot.
Oh, man. So, this is just a really great example of how the internet sucks. It just sucks so bad. There's actually this great article that I'm going to recommend that I read the other day from a website called Birth Movies Death. And the article is entitled... It's a movie review.
Okay, I was like,
site. Yeah.
That's a weird name.
The article is entitled Fandom is Broken, and the whole thing that it talks about is it compares modern fandom to the book Misery by Stephen King.
That's super apt.
It's perfect.
That's like super, super apt.
And it gives a bunch of... It came out right before the No Man's Sky thing happened, but it gives a bunch of examples of stuff that was going on in the last couple weeks.
Your creation doesn't belong to you. It belongs to your fan.
Yeah, it talked specifically a lot about the Captain America thing that happened recently.
The recent comic book thing?
Yeah.
Can we say that because it's a big spoiler or...
I mean, it's a spoiler.
But everybody knows at this point.
But everybody knows. In the new Captain America #1 that came out last week or the week before,
it is revealed that he was a Hydra agent all along.
All along.
Because it ends with him being like, "Hail Hydra!"
And he throws somebody out of a plane.
Yeah. Just like in Batman.
Just like in Batman.
He didn't fly so good.
Man, I just don't understand the internet.
Yeah, but everyone's going nuts about this, and it's like, it's a comic book.
They do this all the time.
They're gonna retcon this in like a few months.
Yeah, dude, they're gonna.
It's a gimmick. It's literally just a thing. It's like, oh, don't you want to read the comic now to see what happens, though?
Yeah.
That's how
all it
comic
is.
books work.
I mean, the thing that I got upset about it was that Marvel does these gimmicky things still, because they actually have been a little better about that recently.
Yeah,
and I was kind of like, oh, I'm glad they're moving away from doing these silly gimmicks to sell books. Oh no, they just did it again.
They just did it again.
But I'm not like...
I mean, the people writing this run of Captain America have said, like, oh, we spent a lot... We've been working on this story for, like a couple years now. We really like it.
Yeah.
We really think it goes good places. So, it remains to be seen. This story may very well be really good and end up being a very interesting Captain America story.
Yeah.
It surprises us.
Yeah.
Or it could be really dumb. And everything goes back to the status quo in a few months.
I mean, either way, everything's going back to the status quo.
But the fact of the matter is, this is the same deal. Like you said, when things like this happen, the internet explodes. And people just get so mad.
And it's interesting because you have content creators coming out on different social media, such as Twitter, and talking about how, like, oh no, I mean, it seems like an interesting creative choice, or, well, yeah, of course he did it, because that's what comic books are like.
Or, like, of course No Man's Sky got delayed. There were probably a bunch of really bad bugs that they decided they were better off fixing prior to release.
And then all the
get the polished game.
All the consumers on Twitter are just like, well, we don't care what other creators say.
But no,
our opinion is more important.
Give us our thing, though.
Yeah. One of the great things the article also compares creative content to in the modern age is the Yelpification of everything.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, ooh, that's also a super good comparison. Because it's like, the consumers now feel like, because they're spending money on this game, that they are the customer, and the customer is always right, and that's sort of the mentality they take with it. Which I guess is exemplified in the thing that was sent to Sean Murray that I read earlier, that's like, I pre-ordered this game, so I deserve to get it, as quickly as possible.
Yeah, because that's how pre-ordering works.
Yeah. It's totally not a gimmick to keep GameStop afloat.
Yeah, don't even pre-order at GameStop. Pre-order off Amazon or something. Get Prime, you get 20% off every fucking game. It's the best deal ever.
It's so good.
It's so good.
Alright.
All their dumb pre-order promises. So, I want to talk about this Steam community thing. The Steam...
That's probably all we have
and that's
time
probably all
for.
we have time for. I'm going to post the Metal Gear thing on our Facebook.
Oh, the Metal Gear thing's so sad.
I want to post it. It needs to be known.
A great sadness has fallen upon the land, and it is Pachinko Metal Gear.
So, this is reported on Destructoid on June 2nd. A developer called Dream Games, who developed the critically reviled first-person shooter Operation Caucasus, which was released on the Steam workshop, basically. It's like a pre-release thing. Was pulled, in theory, because people thought it was a scam, because the game was not particularly good. And then has now resurfaced, and as a show of goodwill, Dream Games was like, we're going to give out free keys to people to play our game. Give you game keys. And a user named Nivea, last name unavailable, asked for a Steam key through a Facebook message, because that's how they were doing it. And she had the LGBT pride support rainbow filter.
Oh, yeah, yep.
And Dream Games didn't like that. Their response after she asked for this key was, "We are not support LGBT." I believe this developer is somewhere in the Middle East.
One of the things I was thinking, if it's Operation Caucasus,
it's in because that's Turkey and that area,
and Georgia,
so it could be kind of the Middle East or Eastern European.
Yeah, that weird section
area.
Between Eastern Europe
Saudi
and Russia
Arabia.
and the Middle East.
Yeah,
the part of the world that no one can point to on a map, or at least no one in America can point to on a map.
Caucasus.
Yeah.
So they said, we're not support LGBT. Please, just fuck you. Which, while hilariously worded, is also dude, what the hell?
Yeah, why?
Whoa, hostility. So, Nivea went to the Steam reviews page to voice her displeasure and said, by asking, I received a negative saying they do not support the LGBT cause and kindly asked me to go fuck myself. She posted the review to expose their homophobia and wanted to get in a few things about the game itself too, because she said, I really tried to play, opened the game twice, but both times it broke, and one of them I needed to restart my PC. So the game doesn't even work well.
No.
So, when the person on Destructoid here, Mike Cosimano, saw this post, he wanted to run her screenshot of like what they said to her through a Photoshop detector because he couldn't believe somebody would actually like say that. And then a Dream Games representative went on to say, because people have been going after them for this.
Yeah.
And a representative went on to say, "We're real human. We can't change our beliefs. You're Christian. You can't support LGBT. You're not following any religion. There is no reason for the support LGBT for you. In America, your parents teach you wrong. This is not the true way. If you'll understand it, you'll be a real human. If you'll not understand that, you'll just be a mutation version of human. We'll never support LGBT. We're not a toy. This is our free will." That's scary. This reads like a psychotic manifesto.
Or
you
like,
will be a mutant human.
Or like a robot programmed for discrimination.
For discrimination, it's so rough.
But what I didn't realize is they probably are from Eastern Europe and not Muslim. They probably are Christian because they're saying you're Christian ? Then you can't support LGBT.
Yeah, they may be Christian. Actually.
So I think they're fundamentalist Christian.
Yeah, something's going on.
Yeah,
there's some kind of religion. So there's an update because Destructoid reached out to them for an update, and they apparently Dream Games issued an apology via the Facebook page that says, "At Dream Games, we feel very sorry about the current situation. We have fired both editor and managing director from team. We will make sure situations like this will never happen in the future." So first of all, I think that's hilarious because that means the editor and the managing director were the people saying these things.
Yeah.
And then they just got fired. Like, those are high up positions. Like, and there was the Steam page actually has been taken down as of the writing of this article too.
Oh,
as of this update,
we found that out because we were trying to look.
You can still go to the community page where all of this stuff is still exploding and going on. There's a second update from the dev team publishing another statement via Steam, which is, this one gets me. "We feel very sad about the situation we have been in the last few days. The truth is, we have never supported and will not support LGBT, and we feel bad for those people, even if they feel happy for themselves. But the actions of our ex-coworkers are unacceptable. We are game developers, and we don't make games for certain societies.
What?
We make it for everyone. No. Regardless of their personality, everyone has the right to buy and play our games.
I like how they start
You mutants.
I like how they start the statement by saying, like, we're really sorry, but no, LGBT people
You're
suck.
still horrible.
We're not making games for them, but we're making games for everyone."
So you're awful. We hate you. But you can play our game. That's fine. But we still hate you, you mutants.
So yeah, I like how they all hate LGBT people, but just like those two people that were fired were just like more vocal about it.
They were too outspoken about it.
The other guys were just like, "No, I mean we hate them. We're just polite about it."
So also on the so on the Steam page, there's been another update as of today that says me, Orsan Mustafayev, and other ex-Dream Games developers, Ilham, blah, 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 some other names,
this has got to be Eastern European.
Yeah, it's got to be with these names. Esker Ismailov.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Have worked in Dream Games team at different time periods as freelancers as part of the original team. So he goes on to basically say, like, please do not think we are employees of this company. We worked for them as freelancers for a while, so even though we're in the game's credits, we know we don't have anything to do with this. They say, we decided to post this after the last LGBT incident and posted this few days later than the incident because it took a while to contact some of the people we have mentioned above. So a bunch of these guys got together and were like, you guys don't think this too, right? Like, you're not in on this, right?
You know what, these guys are probably Russian. because as
Russian
we know
or
from
some Slavic region.
Yeah,
maybe,
but we know there's been a lot of news stories the past, couple of years, about how anti-LGBT sentiment has risen in Russia dramatically over the last decade, last 5 years.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if these guys were Russian,
Yeah.
because it would explain the poor translation.
Yes.
And the names.
Yeah, because those are definitely actually not Middle Eastern type names.
Yeah.
They're not Islamic names.
No.
Not Muslim names. They definitely come off as more Slavic or other Eastern European names. So yeah, fun time.
Yeah, you should also post that to Facebook. That's a hilarious saga that
It's a mess. I'll dig it up again and post it. Yeah, because I just closed it.
But we're near the end of the show. We're overtime, actually.
We're over. But we got our update on upcoming game releases.
So there isn't much.
There's a few things here.
Let's see, we're getting Mirror's Edge Catalyst is coming out.
It's a pretty big deal.
On the 7th.
Odin Sphere Life Dressier.
Yeah.
The remake of that, which has been getting rave reviews.
Yeah, super excited to see that.
The reviews for that have been fantastic, saying the game's as amazing as it ever was, but they fixed every issue that the old game had. They made the gameplay way better. Kirby Planet Robobot comes out next Friday. That's exciting.
Yeah. Well,
and the new version of Guilty Gear Xrd, Revelator of that fighting game, comes out next week as well. And if you're into grand strategy games, Hearts of Iron 4 is coming out on PC.
It did come out on the 6th.
Oh, it did?
Oh, no, wait, it's not the 6th yet.
Yeah, it comes out on Monday.
What a fool I am.
So if you're into grand strategy, check that out.
Yeah.
Hearts of Iron's a good series. That's about it. Thank you very much for listening. We've been Don't Copy That Floppy.
You can find us on all sorts of social media, such as Facebook, iTunes, YouTube, Twitter, and Steam. Please follow us, like us on there, interact with us on there. If you have the time, write a Steam review. We'd super appreciate it. Or not a Steam review, iTunes review.
Yes.
Write a Steam review too. Why not? Why not?
Yeah, who cares?
But
review wherever you want.
Yeah, thanks for listening.
Yeah,
we appreciate that. We're gonna have a Patreon going up real soon, and then you can support us if you'd like. Also,
our completed show archive on YouTube.
Completed show archive on YouTube. Completed show archive are already on iTunes and the chipbit.net website. There's also 3 new shows coming to the Chipbit website, probably later this month, I think. But it's going to be exciting. There's a lot of stuff going on. It's going to be good. So, thanks for listening, and until next time, remember, don't copy that floppy.